All right, hello, greetings, and welcome everyone to this news video. I am the Ninjaneer, and the topics we're covering today are as follows. Aptera here, Aptera there. AOC is on a roll. Autoline interviews Steve. Circuit board motor. EV's World Economic Forum. Boom boom pow. Ford talks with Xiaomi. Cnbc rides in the R2. Toyota CEO change. Transport Evolved drives a Leaf. China solar to outstrip coal this year. And things I liked. Let's get started. All right, the first story for today is the fact that they have actually announced that you'll be seeing Apteras out and about more often. That has a lot to do with the fact that their production line is putting out or will be putting out a lot of Apteras that are ready to drive and fully functional. So yeah, it's really cool to see this post specifically because he is actually just driving the Aptera around. But it's also cool to see that not only will it be just this vehicle, but all sorts of production intent vehicles from Aptera actually going through their paces and doing the testing that it takes to actually get to production. They're validating their line, they're testing the things that are happening to get Apteras built so they can build them consistently and repeatably, and they are out there using the Apteras that they are building in order to stress test and things of that nature. Yeah, it's just really cool to see. So Aptera Owners Club is a channel that I've covered many times, and most of that has to do with the fact that they Steve over there does a phenomenal job every single time I've ever seen a video of his. It is very well done and very precise and very in-depth. That is no different when it comes to his coverage of Aptera. I have watched all of his videos, even though it doesn't look like it. This is my other account, but I've watched all of his videos covering the Aptera facility. I learn from all of the other people that have put out videos on Aptera and the factory as it exists in January. So yeah, I've been taking notes. I've been taking down things that I want to do or see next time I am there. Yeah, just an overall fantastic experience that I was very blessed to have, and seeing other people's take on it and interacting with those videos is phenomenal as well. Okay, so Autoline did an interview with Steve Fambro, and it is a phenomenal interview as usual. They have talked to one another before, and I covered that video as well. Just a really solid interview all the way around, and just worth the time if you guys have 21 minutes to spend. Grab a snack, sit down, watch that interview. It was really good. So a channel that I've been following a bit recently, well, for years actually, but just seriously watching their videos more intently recently, is a channel by the name of Zeroth. He covered a concept that I did not know existed, but after listening to this video and watching this video, I understood that it makes a lot of sense to do these types of motors. They're talking about printed circuit board motors, how they work, why they're efficient, what their drawbacks are. So if you're interested in that technology, because it is a fascinating technology, I would suggest checking this video out if you haven't already. So it is a special kind of proficient, in my opinion, when you are sitting down and talking about a topic and you are doing so with a bunch of other people, generally considered to be rivals in your space, and then you dominate that space even with your competitors in the room. That is what happened with this particular forum, and it's ironic that it's called Can EVs Really Dominate? Because the person talking here is the young lady who is working with the company that is currently leading the world in EVs, in my opinion, BYD. She speaks confidently, even though English is probably not her first language. She speaks competently with respect to her subject matter, and she just overall dominates this room, which is something that is fairly hard to do considering the fact that the people in this room were industry experts in their own right, and she still shone above and beyond those folks. The forum itself was really good. It was basically talking about future innovations in EV technology and how, from a policy and a political, more so perspective, these things can get off the ground. Because we know, technologically speaking, electric vehicles are superior in just about every way, but the ramifications of getting the legislation out and doing the things that it takes to make EVs thrive on a policy level are very different. And they talked about that here in very broad terms and very in-depth terms. This is a 43-minute video, so again, this is one of those you want to grab a snack for, but it is also a fantastic video that kind of gives perspective on how the world is thinking about electric vehicles and how it might be possible for the US to catch up in the near-ish future. All right, so Aptera's sound system is working now. You can hear the sound system in this particular video, but the sound for the device recording is kind of distorting the video a little bit. Sorry, distorting the audio a little bit. So I didn't necessarily take this as an end-all be-all for how the sound system is going to sound, but it is cool to see that they are actually able to interact with the sound system through the touchscreen, as well as get actual sound out of all of the speakers. Wasn't expecting to see this on February 3rd, 2026. Ford held a talk with the Chinese automaker Xiaomi in order to put together like a joint venture. They might be working with this company in order to bring Xiaomi style vehicles to the United States. Maybe not necessarily the vehicles themselves, although that's not out of the realm of possibility either. I suspect that our fearless leader has not heard of this yet, because if he had, I'm fairly certain he would have reacted less favorably considering how he reacted to Canada. But yeah, it's really encouraging to see that Ford just might realize that they are out of their depth with EVs, and they are looking to other companies that know what they're doing, or better know what they're doing. Not saying that Ford doesn't know what they're doing. They do most of the time. But the fact that they are looking for experience that is outside of their own is an encouraging sign. All right, so Rivian did a ride along with the R2, and CNBC was the people they took along with them. This video from Tailosive made me aware of this story, so I went to go look through it, and I read the CNBC story, and I looked at the video footage and all that kind of stuff. It looks like they enjoyed themselves from the tone of the article and from the video that they showed. So I am cautiously optimistic about the R2. I always thought the R2 was going to be something of a game changer for Rivian, and I am hoping that they offer the vehicle at a lower price initially, but as it is stated in Tailosive's video, that's unlikely to happen. But even if it is unlikely to happen, they're still going to sell just about everything they can make with respect to the R2 for a time. So yeah, I'm excited to see where they go with this. The R2 or the R3, those vehicles are my backup vehicle to the Tello. So if the Tello doesn't work out for some strange reason, I don't see why it wouldn't, then I would probably get an R2 or an R3 because my wife is in love with the Rivian vehicles, as am I. It's just a really solid vehicle. So the fact that people are getting the opportunity to see that and experience that in the R2 is going to be really pivotal for the future of Rivian, just generally. All right, Toyota names their former secretary of chairman as the next CEO. I don't know if you guys have been aware of the strange-ish things that have been going on at Toyota, how abrasively they are approaching the EV transition, how slow they were being in adoption and all that kind of stuff, how there are even rumors of them lobbying against the EV revolution in their country and abroad, all sorts of just crazy stuff that Toyota's been doing. I don't know if that crazy stuff is the reason why Toyota is changing their CEO, but I would hope that that was a factor and that this means that they are finally moving into a competent EV strategy. Not to say that they did not have some competency with respect to their hybrid vehicles and things of that nature, but in my opinion, it is time to move towards EVs. They are wasting their time and the time of the rest of the world in this transition because, you know, we don't have a lot of that time with respect to how people say that this use of fossil fuels and other types of polluting energy forms is going to affect the planet. So yeah, I'm glad that this is happening because it could mean that Toyota's finally going to move towards EVs in earnest. Speaking of moving towards EVs in earnest, Nissan has put out a Leaf, and that Leaf has been driven by one of my favorite channels of all time, Transport Evolved. They talk favorably of the vehicle. They seem to like it more than, just about any other vehicle that Nissan has put out with respect to the EV revolution. So yeah, take a bit of time to watch this video, another 42-minute video, but worth every single minute. Yeah, really great video. Please check it out. All right, so you may have noticed that I am a fan of the concept of chronologing when the barrier between coal and fossil fuels being dominant and electricity from solar and wind being dominant happens, like that transition between the two. I am seeing that for China in 2026, this is their year to have more solar production than coal production for the first time in their history. So yeah, their energy transition is moving right along. They are going to be in a position where they are ready to, say that we are more than 50% solar sooner than later. But for now, they're just overtaking coal. Solar is overtaking coal this year, or it is expected to this year. We'll see how that story develops. I'll cover it toward the end of the year to see how they did, but I don't have any reason to disbelieve what they are asserting because they have kept their milestones or exceeded them in the past. All right, so now for the things that I liked. This is kind of a silly video that I found while I was scrolling. As you can see, this gentleman was very, very apologetic for hitting this young lady with the volleyball. He slides for a ridiculous amount of distance, like 15 or 20 feet realistically. But yeah, I saw this video and in my head I said, dude, he slid further than the Aptera goes, than the Aptera's range. Like it's, this man slid so far, it was around the world and back, man. He probably had like 0 knees left after this whole situation. But I just found this particular video hilarious because it shows the unique character that is an apologetic star. This guy is a famous volleyball player, as you may have noticed from his volleyball serve over the net. He took the time out of his life to very humorously and very earnestly apologize to someone for hitting them with the ball. I don't know that there are too many other places that would have gone this far. This many. If there are that many people who would have gone this far to apologize to someone for hitting them in this way, but it is so fun to see. I like stories and things that emphasize human decency, and that's the kind of stuff that I look at when I'm not trying to parse the auto industry. So this one just tickled me so much, and I figured I'd share it with you guys because, why not? All right, that will about do it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I am the Ninjaneer. If you like this video, please do all of those YouTubey things, the liking, the subscribing, the sharing, and all that kind of fun stuff. I'll catch you guys next time. Okay, so you may have noticed that I am a fan of the concept. Come on, man.